how to make one of these super sweet wood flower wreath ornaments. I do have some kits on my website, and these are also being made in the live class I'm doing at Bluebird Farms as well. So that is coming up. I think there's a few more seats still open for that as well. So here's how we create these little cuties. Let's see here. My live video is always a little funky on my computer. Okay, so first we start off, you've got your wreath. You're gonna have your bits of beautiful greenery, just like this, and you're gonna have some pine cones and berries and other fun stuff like that. And then of course, a flower. So I'm gonna use a purple flower for this one as well. So just to kind of show you, I'm gonna turn the camera down so I may not see your comments just because I'm using my phone to record this also, so. All right, there we go. I can kind of still see your comments, I guess. All right, so we're starting off with the wreath, and I always just kind of look my whole wreath over and decide which part most needs me to cover it with the greenery. And I've got this weird part kind of sticking up here, so I sort of feel like that's a good spot. I could also just break this piece off as well, kind of stick it back in. I think though we're just gonna cover it with some greenery. So to cover that with some greenery, I'm gonna start with these first pieces. I like this snowy cypress because I literally can just weave it right into my wreath. So I'm gonna pull it through, pull a couple of the little branches up and over so that is covered, and I can get sort of the angle I want on mine. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna go right underneath this little piece here, pull it through. Now, granted, if you don't have, your wreath doesn't let you do that, it probably will because it's got lots of just nooks and crannies in here. That's why I love a good grapevine wreath. It's hard to mess them up. You could glue it down as well because you're gonna not see the base. If you've got a little extra of this like end nub where it connects, just trim that off. And so you've got the base of your wreath. It could go like this, it could go like this. If I want to angle my pieces and have them more attached to my wreath, I could just use them, a little bit of glue. Honestly, I don't think you need more than that because this is just real light. You could tuck a piece in even. But honestly, just like a little bit of glue will probably do it. So I'm gonna use a little glue right there, just so mine doesn't go too crazy. Hold it down for a second though, make sure that you don't let it go. I think I'm gonna do that same thing on the other side. You don't have to do that on this one. I really just let it kind of come out, right? It's really more free. This one I'm gonna just kind of tame it a little bit and bring it in. Okay, so holding it down for a good couple, maybe like 15 seconds or so. And then we would be good to add the next piece in. So I have another piece of this greenery, but I'm gonna save it just to cover in bits later. And I've also brought over a little bit of this pine. Everyone has a different accent greenery in their wreath kits, so it just depends which wreath kit you get. There's always like an accent piece that kind of goes with it, but I'm gonna work this in and just kind of decide where I want this. I think I wanna put these pieces in here. I kind of like that, or maybe on top. No, I do a lot of placing before I make final decisions. Yeah, I like that. So I'm gonna use some more glue, and this is when I'm not gonna try to go through on anything. I'm just gonna put a good bit of glue so that I've got something for it to grab onto. And I always know the center is where my flower is gonna be, so it's okay if there's a little extra glue in that center spot because you're not gonna see it anyway with the flower being there. You also don't wanna make that center spot too thick because then you might not see the flower either. There we go. Okay, and I don't know, it's giving me some kind of weird message. I really need to explore Facebook Live more because I don't do it very often. So if it's coming out like a choppy video, it says something is too low and I need to fix it, but I'm too busy hot gluing, so what you gonna do? So now I'm gluing this other piece on right now just so you can see I've got those little pieces, and it could be a sideways wreath, it could go like that. And then I kind of want to come in on the bottom probably and add just a little bit, maybe more there too. So I'm going to break this piece in half. Oops. I've got this cool like red eucalyptus that came in a lot of the wreath kits, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, I think I'm going to go in towards the bottom here and kind of work my way out also. So with your wreath kits, I think I only had a limited number of them because I'm using most of the wreaths for the class I'm doing, but I think there's maybe like 5 of them left if you want to do a cute little wreath. For some reason these were hard for me to find this year. Oh, I had these left over from last year. So just kind of gluing. I don't mind gluing on top of the other greenery. I like that it will give it a little more support as well. Coming right there. Hold it down. I should have used my wire just so I don't burn myself there. There we go, perfect. So we are ready to add the flower. So you've got your base, just like this, and we're gonna come right in the center and add that flower in. So this one is pretty flat on the bottom. I still might wanna trim it a little. I kind of put it down in C first. I like mine to not stick up too much, so I just come in and cut a little bit off if there's a little extra nub there. And then just like we did if you watch the wood slice ornament kit, you're gonna add a lot of glue so that way it gets into everything here. And this is probably the most important part for you to really hold down, but also to be careful, right? Because the back of the grapevine wreath, glue could seep through that. So one, you don't want to get your table. Two, you really don't want to get you. That's probably the most important part. Hot glue comes off most tables pretty easily, so it won't be the end of the world. But just give it a nice hold. I like to press it down because otherwise it glues up a little bit higher. And hot glue cools pretty quickly, but if you have a hot versus a low temp, it'll take a second or two longer. The low temp will cool pretty quickly. And then you can just sort of get a sense, like, does it feel like there's a spot that needs a little more glue, maybe? I've got right there, I think. So we've got like the basic of your ornament right there. And then we're gonna come in with my pine cones and some berries. This is probably not the most crazy ornament. I've also got these extra bits that I still might go in and add some more into these later because I just feel like a couple spots could use it. So I just kind of test out where do I want to put my pine cones and just see where I like them. And then I move my wreath around and just think to like, where will people see a gap? Is there a gap somewhere? Sometimes it's just good to glue one on the back side, even though people aren't gonna really see it unless they're like looking at it from the top, but that's okay. So I'm gonna come right in and glue both kind of a little bit on the flower and a little bit on the greenery where I want to put this pine cone. That way it'll glue to both and give it that extra support. I'm going to hold it down on that side and I'm going to come in on this side. This one's going to go a little bit lower, I think. I'm going to use a smaller one here. It's not too big. Ooh, glue, hot. And then I don't want to overdo it on these pine cones. I do think I want to put one in the back. Not that you'll even see it. I feel like I just want to give it a little extra support. And that way if you do look at it from the top, you'll see it a little bit. It just feels like we're there on a reason. It kind of peeks out a little bit, just a little. So here's the basics of my start of the ornament. I'm going to come in now. I want to do the berries next. So pull the berries off, and the wires are longer than you need, so you can cut them as you go or cut them now. It's really up to you. But leave a little bit of a stem just so that just so that you have something for it to go into. So that little stem will help. I'm like Butterfingers today with these. And I like the red with the purple. I don't even think this purple is an option in my ornament kit. I stuck with more traditional colors, but this is sort of a fun, not necessarily super Christmassy wreath ornament. It's just like some bright bold colors, which I kind of like. And you just got to pop those berries in wherever you want them, like wherever they look good. Kind of slide them in. Honestly, that berry is almost going to stay on its own. I'm just going to add a little glue right there. Actually, kind of feel like, nah. Maybe one more. Let's see. I just can't hold on to those berries today, can I? Let's do one more, like maybe, I don't know, like that feels too even. It's too uneven. I guess we'll go down at the bottom. I'd rather be too even than too uneven. Probably if I wasn't making a video, I'd spend a little more time just trying to figure out the right spot, but you don't need me to overanalyze my berry placement right now. So I've got my 4 berries in right there. And then I'm going to add in more greenery. So I'm going to use these pieces and I'm just going to pull off some little branches because I want to just add some more in some different spots. Oops. And let's see. Yeah, I want to come in down here at the bottom and really add in some more. And I'm almost having to put a little bit of glue on the other greenery just so I know it'll hold for sure, because there's not a lot for it to hold onto at the bottom. Just put a smaller piece over on this side, kind of by that berry. What I'm doing is just sort of making it integrate the other greenery, add it a little bit. Oops. I put it on and then I pulled it right out. Ah. Worst case scenario, you add a little more hot glue later if it doesn't feel like it's sticking. And I definitely can just tell I need another piece up here, so I'm gonna stick a little in this like bald spot on my wreath. We're gonna throw, I shouldn't throw this one in. Haha. Oh yeah, that's it. I think we're good now. Do I want to add one more pine cone? Maybe. Right here. Nah, leave it. Okay, so we've got the basic wreath right here.